Welcome to this techie tutorial. Today, we're going to set up MongoDB on Windows 10. We're going to go through the process of downloading and installing Mongo. I'm going to give you a good understanding of what the MongoDB service does. We're going to add the environmental variable path to MongoDB. We're going to create a database. Then we're going to create a collection. We're going to add documents to that collection. And then we're going to clean up by deleting the collection and then deleting the database, all from the command line. So let's get started. Let's go to our favorite browser to start. We are going to search for MongoDB. And mongodb.com is the website we're after. Click on that to open it up. It's kind of hard to find on their homepage. The easiest way is to find the drop down over here. Look for software, and we want community server, and we want on premises. That's the local version of the server. If you wanted to use the cloud, you can click over here, but we're going to install a local environment for basically just development. But if we were doing production, we'd probably want to store it in the cloud or some sort of online database, not just local. Go with the current version. Windows looks good. Click the download, click save, and then I will be back when this is done downloading in a minute. The Mongo download is complete, so let's just go ahead and click on it here. We're going to click OK because we know it's not going to harm our computer, because we trust Mongo. Got the setup wizard here. Let's just click next, agree to the terms and conditions, because if we don't, we can't install it. Let's just go with complete installation. We don't need a custom installation. Just click complete, and let's run this as a network service. And everything else looks fine. Service name is going to be MongoDB. The data directory, your data is going to be stored in data. The log is going to be stored in log. That's fine. And I'm going to talk a little bit about this service. If we right click the taskbar down here, and we go Tasks Manager, your services for Windows are all right here. And this is what it's going to run Mongo as. It's going to create a service for us, and that service is going to start with our computer, and it's going to let us access MongoDB without having to actually go in and say, okay, Mongo start up, so I can actually execute Mongo and have something happen. So you have to have the service running basically, and this just enables it by default on Windows every time we start. So it's just a really easy way to get Mongo up and running without going through an extra step. Alright, we're going to install Compass. We're not going to actually use Compass, but we're going to install it here. That's a whole nother video if we wanted to actually use Compass. I'm going to click next. We're going to click install, and now we got to give it permission. Yes. So I'm gonna wait for this to install, and I will see you when we're done. Alright, so we got MongoDB installed. Let's click the finish button, and let's just close our Firefox here. And it opened up MongoDB Compass for us. This is a whole nother video, so I'm just gonna close this. We're going to test to make sure Mongo is set up correctly by creating a database and a collection using the command line. So let's go down here to our search bar and type in this and look for this PC. Click enter. I'm going to go on local drive C here. We have to find the path that we installed MongoDB. So under C, under program files, under MongoDB, under server, and then whatever version you have installed here. It might be higher than version 4.4. Go ahead and open that up. Then open up the bins folder. And Mongo.exe. That's what we're looking for. So let's just use a shortcut here to open up the command line in a specific path. So click over here, highlight everything, then type in CMD. This will open up the command line or command prompt in Windows, and we are at the path. We're at program MongoDB server 4.4. So /bin. That path we just navigated to is just a shortcut to start up command prompt in a specific directory. So now that we're in that directory, we can look for this mongo exe command. So let's just type in mongo, and everything's working. Cool, awesome, sweet. But one thing to note, I'm just going to show you how Mongo's working, because it already found Mongo just by typing it in. So I'm going to right click down here. I'm going to go to Task Manager, and if it looks like this, just click the More Detail. I'm going to go under Processes, and I'm going to scroll down to see if I could find the Mongo. There we go, MongoDB server. So the MongoDB server is running as a background process. That's why when we type in Mongo here, everything starts up and works just fine, because every time we start our computer, this service is running in the background. So I'm just going to right click this, and you don't have to do this. I'm just doing this for demonstration purposes. So I'm going to end this task. I'm going to go back here to our command line, and I'm going to type in exit to get out of this. And then I'm just going to go click up arrow. I'm going to type the up arrow once. That'll give me my old command of Mongo. Hit enter. We're connecting, and connection failed because the service for Mongo is not running. We cannot connect to something that's not running. So I'm going to go back here. I'm going to go over to services, and when we installed it, it said, do we want to run it as a service, as a network service? And we said yes, that's what this is doing. So every time Windows starts, the MongoDB service, which is right here, will start up. And I exited it. I terminated that process, so that exited out of MongoDB, and the service is now stopped. So that's why I'm not able to connect. So if I right click here on MongoDB and click start, it's going to starting. Now it's going to running. So our MongoDB service is now running again. If we go back to processes, we can go down and we can see that that Mongo database server is running again. So if you're having issues connecting to MongoDB, check your task manager, check your services, make sure that service is running, that the process is running, and you'll be good to go. So I just trying to give you guys an idea of actually what it's doing behind the scenes and what starts up every time your computer starts, because this stuff does slow your computer down a little bit, but I just wanted to let you know what it's for, what it's running, why that process is running, because it's hard to tell a lot of times because software just installs that stuff without really making it very apparent. So let's just go back into Mongo. Scroll down here, give us some room. So the problem we have here is the only way to access Mongo is if we go through the path here. So we have to navigate through the path in our command prompt before we can execute the Mongo exe. So we want to access that from anywhere. So I'm going to exit out of here, type in exit, and I'm going to type in cd/enter. So now we're at our base C drive, and if I type in Mongo, it's not a recognized command because it doesn't know where to find that Mongo exe. So if we go back here to our path, we need this path. We click here, and this is the wrong path. This is Windows System 32 cmd exe. That's because I typed in commander earlier here to open up the command prompt. Let's just click the up arrow once to go up one folder and go back into bin. Now if we click here, we get the correct path, Mongo server bin. So right click, copy. Let's go down to the search bar, look for environment variables, type in env, should bring up edit to system environment variables, control panel, and in system properties, go environment variables, and then under system variables, go under path, and this will affect the whole system. If I put it up here for the user, this would only affect the techie, which is my username, but we're going to make it affect the whole system, so anybody on this system will have access to Mongo. So select a path, edit, new, right click, paste, okay, 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 and this won't work. We'll have to restart Mongo, or we'll have to restart command prompt. Type it in. Still not recognized. Let's go ahead and close out of this. Search bar, type in CMD. There we go. Let's type in Mongo. There, now it's found. So we can start Mongo from any path that we are on. It'll know where that Mongo exe is because it looks in the environmental variables. It knows to look there for Mongo. Next, to test MongoDB, we're going to create a database and a collection with a few items in it. So let's see what databases we have to start with. Let's just type in show DBS, show databases. So we have 3 by default. We got the admin, the config, the local. So these 3 are installed by default when we install MongoDB. And we are going to create a new one now. So let's just type in use, and I'm going to name my database MyDB, and then hit enter. And it says switch to MyDB. So let's go back, hit up arrow twice, and then back to show DBS. And I just created a database called MyDB, but it's not showing up here. And that's because you have to insert a document before the database is created, and we will do that next. So let's go ahead and create a collection. And actually, let's see what database we're in first. So just type DB, and you type DB database. The database is my database because we said use my database, and it switched to DB, my database. So we're currently under my database. So anything we insert or delete or remove is all going to be from my database. So let's go ahead and continue by typing in DB, and we're going to create a new collection. So DB dot, this is going to be my collection name. The collection doesn't exist, but if we just reference it and it doesn't exist and say add something to it, MongoDB is smart enough to know that we're just adding to the collection. So let's just type in my COLL for my collection, and then let's do dot. We have to do an insert function. Let me scroll down here so we can see a little better. So insert function, and then open and close parentheses, and then open and close curly brackets. And then inside the curly brackets, we're going to put 2 double quotes. Inside those 2 double quotes, the string, we're just going to put item 1. And you could have a space here if you want. This is just a string. And then outside of the quote, we're going to put a semicolon. We're going to go space, and we're just going to put 1, just an integer. So we don't need the quotes. So this should insert item 1 into my collection. Let's click the enter button. There we go. Right results inserted 1. Cool. Let's just click up, and let's go back to that old statement. Let's just change the 1s into 2s. So we'll insert item 2 with a value of 2. Click enter. Okay, cool. So let's go show database again. So SHOW DB S show databases, and now our database exists because we actually added an item to it. Now let's go ahead and type in let's go ahead and show collections. So let's type in show collections. Do I have to do DB's show collections? Oh, if I spell it right. All right, show collections. So my COLL, that's the collection I created, and once I inserted the item, it created the collection. So that's pretty cool. So we now have a collection of my collection, and we have the database, my DB, and we have a couple items. So let's see the items that we have in here now. So let's go DB dot, and then you got to use your collection name. So we named it my COLL, and then we will do a dot find, and then open and close parentheses, and then hit enter. So the find function just gives us everything in the collection. So this finds everything in this collection, and scroll down a little bit here, and prints it out all nicely. So we got item 1 that we added, and we got item 2, and it created an ID for us, and it just created a unique object ID, and you don't have to worry about that too much. It just generates a unique ID for each item under the ID column. We could specify that if we wanted to, but that's beyond the scope of this tutorial. So we have everything working. Normally you wouldn't just use find and just get the whole entire collection. A lot of times you'd use some sort of filtering. You would just look for item 1 where it equals 1, or where item 1 is greater than 1, or something like that, to narrow down your results. But I'm just showing the whole entire collection here with the find, with just no parameters, just to display everything that's in there. So let's go ahead and clean up a little bit here. So let's go ahead and delete the collection. So let's type db dot my COLL, my collection, and then go ahead and do a dot, and then let's just go drop, and then open and close parentheses, click enter, and true. So we just dropped it. To make sure it dropped it, let's click the up arrow key until show collections comes up, click enter, and nothing. When we showed that last time, when we typed in last time, it said my COLL. That's what I named my collection. So the collection has been deleted. Now let's type in, let's drop the database too, just for completeness, because we don't want to leave MongoDB lying around in your database that you're going to use for development. So let's type db.drop. Let's see, and then you have to type in drop, and then you have to type in database after that, capital D. Then open and close parentheses. Click enter, and it said OK. So let's type in show dbs, enter. I hit enter twice, but that's fine. So now you look, and we do not have our database. So we just have the 3 that it started with. We just deleted the 1 that we just created. So now you've seen how to create a database, create a collection, how to add some items, how to delete the collection, how to delete the database. I didn't show you how to delete the individual items, but you really have to select the item you want deleted. And I just deleted the whole collection because this is just a getting set up for MongoDB, and I think we achieved that. So hopefully you guys are up and running with Mongo, and hopefully you guys enjoy it as much as I do. Thanks for watching. Close.